guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Superman and Lois Season 4. We've got a lot to discuss in regards to a specific theory today. We're going to be doing more theory videos as we head towards Season 4 coming out sometime next year, we would presume. But if you do want to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. So going into Season 4 of Superman and Lois, we all know we have to kind of peel back our expectations because there's been huge budget cuts, there's going to be less characters than normal. There's also a chance that we don't go back to Smallville, we just go to Metropolis, and so it could be a complete change of location. So I believe Season 4 is going to be very different from what we've had before. And so with this, obviously we've all been thinking, okay, with the time off that we've had and the fact that Superman and Lois is not going to come out until like summer 2024, what are we going to be getting in this new season? And obviously you can look at the cliffhanger of Season 3 with Doomsday fighting Superman on the moon. Obviously we will continue that in some form. There has been speculation that that could be glossed over and it could be done in like 1 or 2 episodes because of budget cuts. But there's also the whole rest of the season that we've got to figure out what is going to be happening. We know Lex Luthor is going to be a big part of this new season. We don't know what his plans are beyond just using Doomsday to defeat Superman. But he's going to be a series regular on the show, so that means he's going to be in pretty much all of the 10 episodes of Season 4 that were confirmed by the CW a while back. And so with the core characters and excluding the characters that have been dropped to guest stars or recurring characters in this new season, so that's pretty much everyone that's not the main family, the show is presumably going to get smaller. And so with that, there's obviously less expansive ideas that they can kind of bring into the show. So if you're thinking there's going to be any crossovers, I don't think that's going to happen because they are going to be heavily restrained this season, more so than they've ever been in the past. And they haven't really done too many crazy crossovers apart from having Diggle on the show, and that's pretty much it. Because they've wanted to be independent of the Arrowverse, but now that the Arrowverse has pretty much been thrown away by the CW since Nexstar took over, it's pretty much just Superman and Lois left. So going into Season 4, this is what we are kind of thinking, and we've all got this all in our heads. And so the main thing I want to bring up in regards to this theory, you've seen it in the title of the video, it's all to do with Power Girl or a new Supergirl. Is there any way of bringing in a character like Power Girl into Season 4 of Superman and Lois? This is theory we've talked about over the last 3 or so years. And I believe I even talked about it when Supergirl was still going on, but it's a recurring theory because we expect at some point maybe a different version of Supergirl will show up, and lots of you like the idea of Power Girl showing up. And so I'm here to answer the question. With what we got right now with Season 4 coming up and all the budget cuts, are we even going to get introduced to any new characters beyond just a few guest stars in a couple of episodes? And I think the honest answer is probably not. Like, if you want to introduce a Power Girl, you need to give her episodes. That means you need to have an actor who is going to be in multiple episodes. You're going to have to spend money on getting that actor in. If they're a really good actor, I'm not saying they're going to be like Melissa Benoist or anything, but if they find someone who could be like a Supergirl replacement, obviously it would be kind of expensive because it definitely means more CGI, but they have said that they're going to focus on visual effects, and that's why Season 4 of Superman and Lois is going to come out later than some of those other CW shows like Walker and All American. And so if you take that into account, I guess, you know, they do have more time, they can still do lots of visual effects, but there's just going to be less episodes and less characters. So realistically, with what they're doing with the plot and what they're going to be planning to do, is there an opportunity to bring in anyone like Power Girl? I think probably not, based on just the budget and everything, how it lines up. But I would love to see some sort of new character on the show because, yes, it's cool to explore the characters that we already have, but every season in the Arrowverse show, it's always been great when they introduce new characters, especially aliens. And obviously there would be a whole backstory, and Todd Helbing has previously said if they did another version of Supergirl, it wouldn't be Melissa's version. She could play the character again, but it would be a different origin story, and so you would need the episodes to actually build that up. So with 10 episodes, are we going to get that? Probably not, as I said. but we can obviously theorize about it. And if you guys have any other theories about specific characters from the comics that are Superman or like Supergirl related that you want me to talk about and theorize about, please let me know what they would be in the comments down below. But one of our main members on the channel, Nathan Bell, who I'm sure some of you guys have seen in some of the members' live streams, actually sent in a suggestion to me in regards to this Power Girl theory, because if Power Girl is to come, how would they show up in the show? And I think that's an important question if we are theorizing about her potentially coming. And so number one, the easy option is, okay, she's just arrived and she's been on Earth all this time and she's just shown up for the first time, like how Supergirl showed up. Obviously Superman knew her when she was young and kind of kept in contact, but no version of Kara has ever been referenced on the show. Obviously there was that Diggle reference to Crisis, but I'm pretty sure that was retconned at the end of season 2 because it turned out Superman and Lois is completely on its own on a different Earth. And so that's the easy option, right? Supergirl or Power Girl shows up out of nowhere. They've been here, they've just been embedded in society for all that time. So Nathan's option is very interesting. He says that a theory could be, what happens if Lex finds her and has her working for him, so an employee of LexCorp, and he says maybe her name could be Mercy. Obviously we all know Mercy Graves in the comics, but even in Supergirl as well, has shown up many times and basically is like the assistant to Lex Luthor, who is always working on everything with him. So what happens if we have a person that's already going to be showing up in the show, but you see the revelation of them becoming someone else who you don't expect? And so yeah, I like that idea of having someone embedded within Lex's kind of group. Obviously, we've seen what he's done to Bizarro. You can definitely give powers. We've seen X-Kryptonite before, so you could see some sort of like evil version of Supergirl show up. I think that's definitely a possibility if that's the route they want to go. Again, I don't have any inside information if this is even remotely what they're thinking. This is just a theory at the end of the day. But also another theory is, and we've talked about this previously, but not to do with Supergirl or Power Girl, we've talked about Lex creating a clone. And obviously that clone in the comics and traditionally, like you've seen in Young Justice, Lex has previously created a version of Superboy, that being Connor Kent. And so what happens if there is a twist in Superman and Lois, and if he's been doing more experiments? Obviously we've wrapped up the Doomsday story and everything, and Lex has just been working behind the scenes on something else, on another experiment, which wouldn't be too crazy in my honest opinion because he's Lex Luthor at the end of the day. But what happens if you have a cloned version of Supergirl? Obviously there could have been a Supergirl on Superman and Lois's Earth, or he can embed the powers of Superman into, say, a Mercy Graves who already works for him, and they pretty much become the new Supergirl or the new Power Girl, but they are obviously working with Lex and they're evil. If it is going down the route of like cloning, obviously he can control her a lot more than, you know, a person that has their own will. Just like when you saw him torturing Bizarro and pretty much putting the idea into his head that Superman's the enemy and he has to kill Superman at all costs. So that is just one or two theories about how they could potentially introduce a new superpowered hero, or specifically a villain if we're talking Lex Luthor here. Do you guys think there is any kind of possibility that this could happen? As I said at the start of the video in the first portion, I think it's less likely that we're actually going to get any new big characters, and they would obviously be a very big character, and that is because of the huge budget cuts and the restrictions on how many cast members they're going to have in this new season. So I think it's a shame, but I think ordinarily, if it was a normal CW, if it was the normal Arrowverse, I think Superman and Lois would have eventually got to an alternate version of Supergirl showing up, whether it's Supergirl or Power Girl, or whether they're good or bad. I believe that would have actually happened because Todd Helbing has talked about that before, and with all the changes, I think he is heavily restricted now, and he's probably not going to be able to go that crazy, and it's going to be a little bit unlikely this will happen in the next season. We don't know what the future holds for Superman and Lois. As a show, it could go beyond season 4, it could go into season 5, it could go into season 6. It really depends on the CW and if the show stays there. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, but I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.